athlete, this is an arena of memories. In the world of skating, this is known simply as Landover. The house that one athlete built. A place where he is both heroic and human. Landover, a place where one athlete was remade. It's a place that reminds us that millionaire skaters still can be vulnerable. A place where failures can become redemption. For one skater, this is a place that reminds her how fragile success can be. It's just a sheet of ice. This stage where two athletes have left behind a piece of themselves.
Welcome to the place called Landover, on most nights home to the NBA's Washington Bullets or the NHL's Washington Capitals. But once a year, the house is packed for figure skating's oldest and most prestigious event. With warm-ups underway, Tom Hammond, Rosalind Sumner's Elfie Schlegel in Landover. And over the next 2 nights, we'll be bringing you competition in pairs and in ladies and men's singles. We'll start with the technical programs tonight, counting 50% of the final score, then conclude with the artistic programs tomorrow night. Landover, a place where Rosalind Sumner's competed 10 times.
And Roz, I was interested. You said when you came to watch practice a couple of days ago, you came to the arena and you had that old competition feeling again.
Well, Tom, I just drove into the parking lot and my knees got weak and I felt my throat closing off. I mean, this is the competition the skaters spend the entire season preparing for. It's a big, intimidating building. The judging is tough, and of course, it's prestigious history. This is where it all happens.
This is a very important competition, and of course, champions have pride. Last year, 2 champions, Kristi Yamaguchi and Brian Boitano, were upset here. And Roz, I think they're skating with a little something extra to prove this year.
Well, Kristi's only been beat 3 times as a professional, twice by Midori Ito and here last year by Yuka Sato. Now, Kristi has pushed herself and come up with the toughest program she's ever had. Of course, Yuka's had a very consistent season. She's on the top of her game. She has 5 triples planned. It's going to be a great competition between those two.
We will be seeing the ladies' competition a little later on. And, of course, the men's field is outstanding here at Landover. Brian Boitano, the perennial champion, who was upset last year by Kurt Browning. Browning hoping to get 2 titles in a row. And a newcomer this year to the World Pro Championships, Rudy Galindo, makes his World Pro debut tonight.
And he's here with his sister, Laura, who is not only his choreographer and coach, but his best friend, his sole system of support. This is who Rudy really leans on at a time like this.
Victor Petrenko contemplating the competition. He's an Olympic gold medalist, but he's never won a World Pro Championship. Paul Wiley has. He was the winner here in 1993. Some last-minute practice of a couple of moves for his technical program coming up later. But first, we'll see the pair skaters with Canadians Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini leading things off, and a bit of nostalgia. 7-time champions. They haven't won every time they've been here, but they've won enough to be favorites of the crowd. They have said this will be their last World Pro Championships, and skating to some Beatles music.
And Tom, this is the hardest place to skate right here. First of the whole evening. Not only are you nervous for your program, but you are setting the tone for the championship. step up to the challenge right here in this technical program with a throw triple sow. Barbie and Paul have been skating together for 20 years, and not only do they deliver the goods in every performance, but what sets them apart from these other pair teams tonight is their chemistry.
But are they still competitive after 20 years?
Well, they've shown that with the throw triple sow, but if you're going to see any weakness, it'll be right here in the side-by-side double flip.
And a hand down for Barbara. Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini, obviously proud favorites here, but was it a good enough performance to win title number 8?
The World Professional Figure Skating Championships are brought to you by
Underhill and Martini in just a moment.
It's time on network television, The Joy Luck Club at a special time, 8/7 Central, NBC Monday.
Makers of the NutraSweet brand sweetener, welcome to the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championship. We are proud to sponsor this spectacular event and hope you will enjoy watching these Olympic and world champion skaters compete for the most prestigious title in all of professional figure skating. NutraSweet is proud to bring you this memorable competition and encourage you to sit back and savor the talents of these fine athletes.
Welcome back to Landover, where Elena Bechke and Dennis Petrov await their turn on the ice. But first we'll have the marks for Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini. 2 sets of marks for the first time this year, technical and artistic. Perfect score is 10, high and low are thrown out.
9.6.
Well, these marks aren't that high, and that's really because they only had 3 major elements in this program.
9.7 and 9.8.
That's where they need to be.
Well, Barbara said not bad. They seem to be pleased with those marks. Second set coming up.
9.7, 9.7, 9.8, 9.7.
And these marks aren't any higher because what Barbie and Paul did tonight is not new material. We've seen it. The judges have seen it. It was not a dynamic performance.
And next, Bechke and Petrov, the Olympic silver medalists, and escaping that second spot has been a problem here in Landover. 4 times they've been runner-up at the World Pro Championships.
And they have a shot to win this title tonight, and they are tough competitors, and this program is loaded technically.
Skating to the Lady and the Hooligan by Shostakovich.
move planned in their program, a split triple twist. And what sets them apart from the other teams is two difficult elements back to back.
The strength of Denis Petrov very much on display.
Transition in the story of the ballet dancer and the sailor in the mafia. He has fallen in love with her. She may come in a smaller package, but she is equally as strong as Denis. Side-by-side double flips. But what's really going to get the marks in this program is the interconnecting moves are just as strong as the hard elements. They never let up.
The Russian pair, Elena Betsky and Denis Petrov, in a program loaded with technical elements, and they skated it cleanly.
Well, they definitely couldn't have skated that number better, and they know it. The hardest element in their program is the throw triple sow, usually the move that will win this championship. Watch the reach with her free leg, the height of this jump. Solid landing, and that is a look of satisfaction. What makes Elena and Denis so great is their unison. Watch here on the side-by-side double flips.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the technical mark.
Perfect sync, and we'll see how the judges feel about the performance.
9.8. 9.8.
Well, nearly unanimous so far.
9.8. 9.8. And 9.8.
It is unanimous, 9.8 on the first set of marks. As the defending champions, Kvarkova and Novotny await their turn.
9.8. 9.8. 9.8. 9.9.
Well, from experience, I know these judges are very tough. That program deserves solid 9.9.
9.9.
And winding up with a 9.9, and overall mark good enough to put them into first
Now,
place.
ladies and gentlemen, Radka
And now from the
Kovarakova
Czech
and
Republic, the
Renee
defending
Novotny.
champions, Radka Kovarakova and Renee Novotny. You may remember last year a controversial finish, colliding and tangling with the lights and being awarded a complete reskate to win the title.
And that, Tom, is a result of being very green. Actually, the year later, they're still learning how to be professionals.
Familiar strains of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
They're going to open this program with a move we have not seen tonight in the pairs, side-by-side triple toes. He has not been landing this in practice all week.
Not a good start, and a long way to go. Can they recover?
Well, when you make such a serious mistake like that in the beginning of the program, it really rattles your confidence. 3.5 more minutes to go. You have to recover right here and now. Following with a throw triple toe. Again, a move we have not seen in the pairs tonight. The reason you're seeing side-by-side triple toes, moves that the other pairs aren't doing, is because they are so fresh out of the amateur world. They are still doing the moves that won them the World Championship.
Was that a look of a resignation? Radka Kovarakova and Renee Novotny. Do you think they were able to recover from that early mishap?
Well, they did recover nicely after that fall on the triple toe, but it was a very risky move, and it could have cost them the championship.
Radka and Renee celebrated the World Championship, the World Pro Championship, by getting married last summer, and now in their first year of touring as professionals.
And that's the experience they're going to need to become true professionals. Here they have the side-by-side triple toe. You can see he's already off balance, never gets straight in the air. He's so offside, he cannot hang on to that landing. Edge goes right out from under him. Here they recover with a split triple twist. Not as strong as Elaine and Dennis's. Watch here. She doesn't quite split the legs and is not that high in the air.
And here are their
Ladies
scores.
and gentlemen, the technical marks for Radka Kavarakova and Renee Novotny. 9.6.
Ooh, beginning with a 9.6.
9.7.
Well, you can't start a program with a serious mistake like that. That gets the judge's attention, and the marks will stay low.
9.7.
Except there was a 9.9 in there, ranging from 9.6 to 9.9.
And again, that mark could come because of recovering so quickly with a throw triple toe. You have to give them credit for that.
9.7.
Betsky and Petrov know they will retain the lead based on these scores. In fact, the defending champions find themselves in third place. Underhill and Martini are second, and the competition to be decided with the artistic program tomorrow night. Next, the ladies take the ice for the technical program. Roz, this is a position you've been in 10 times here. What goes through your mind as you go out on the ice for the first time to warm up?
Well, this is it. This is where the fear, the nerves, the pent-up energy, you have 5 minutes to get those legs under you, 5 minutes to shake it all out. You're out there with other world and Olympic champions. Everybody's concentrating, aware of what the other girl is doing.
I suppose everyone is different, but do you ever get over the case of nerves?
No. No, but you learn to control them.
And we'll see who controls them best when we return with the ladies' technical program. We see her compete so often we might forget the training time and dedication Kristi Yamaguchi devotes to staying at the top. Olympic gold 5 years ago, and still the pressure and expectations remain. For while she has won Landover, she has also tasted defeat here twice in the past 4 years. Yuka Sato, one-time world champion. Last year's world professional champion. Were those titles flukes, or is she Kristi's equal? Katya Gordieva, her life turned upside down. Now she has returned to the source of her strength, her skating. And where better to prove herself than here in Landover, where only the best compete.
Clear the ice.
And as the ladies warm-up concludes, you can really see the tension on the faces of even the most veteran of these skaters. In fact, they all admitted to a case of nerves before skating here in Landover. Here's the skate order with Katarina Witt leading off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Katarina Witt.
Katarina is used to coming into a competition knowing she can win. She is usually the one intimidating her competitors. Not tonight. She doesn't even have close the technical ability of Yuka and Kristi. This is a different position for Katarina.
She'll be skating to Don't Cry For Me, Argentina by Madonna from the Evita soundtrack. She says it's about a misunderstood woman, not necessarily Evita Peron, perhaps herself.
Though it seemed to the world they were all I desire, they are illusions, they're not the solution.
Couldn't quite hang on to that landing. If you'll notice, as she came around the corner, she actually clipped her toe on the edge of the boards.
I love you and hope you love me. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Again, without the technical ability, Katarina has to rely on the strength and the emotion of this program.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I'll never let you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't go distance. Have I said too much? There's nothing more I can think of to say to you. But all you have to do is look at me to know that every...
Here she has a second double axel planned right at the end of the program when your strength is not there.
Katarina Witt. And you say her chances of winning maybe aren't so great, but when she takes the ice, the competitiveness of a two-time Olympic champion really comes out. And obviously, the crowd still has affection for Katarina Witt.
And for Yuka Sato coming out now, she can feel the warmth in that audience. And trust me when I say it is difficult to follow Katarina Witt.
Katarina will await her marks, and the judges have been lectured about gratuitous 10s. They're going to be a little tougher in the judging this year, we're told.
Well, Katya's not worried about the tough judging. She's just trying to stay focused. Of course, the nerves of competing and also many memories of Sergei in this building.
Kristi Yamaguchi, the favorite to regain her title here this year. She appears to be concentrating on what she will do in her program. Katarina, a little bit out of breath after a taxing long program.
Well, I guess that's something to do with the stuffed animals the fans throw out on the ice.
Now that is buxom.
It's fun to see Katarina enjoying competing as opposed to worrying so much about the judging.
And now...
But she will have to worry about the judging eventually, and here it comes.
9.5.
And it does not begin well.
9.6.
Well, they have to start low because they know what jumps the other girls have planned. Katarina didn't even cleanly land the triple toe. She really only did 2 double axels and 1 double flip.
And the fans let their feelings be known. These artistic marks coming up should be better.
Artistic marks. 9.8. 9.7. 9.7. 9.7. 9.6.
And they're still not that high because basically the program was very simple.
Well, still a smile and a blown kiss from Katarina Witt. as 23-year-old Yuka Sato, born, lives in Tokyo, world champion when she won it in her home country, and now defending champion here in Landover.
Well, being a defending champion isn't the thing on Yuka's mind right now. She's been having rough practices. She just flew in yesterday from Japan. This is a packed program. She's got to land everything.
Skating to Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun.
Yuka's going to open the program with a triple Lutz. Turn it into a double. She's thinking right now, I needed that triple. I needed to set myself up for the rest of these jumps. Shakes the confidence, and she's going into a triple loop right here. Now the confidence is really shaken. And yet she, oh my gosh, she turns around and steps into another triple loop. That is a competitor. She was mad, and she did it again.
Described this program as one in which you have to concentrate 100%, and apparently she's lost concentration a couple times.
Yuka is known for the pure quality of her skating, her lines, her edges, and when I say that, I mean the position of her body, how she holds edges and then steps into her jumps. There was a beautiful triple sow. I think the concentration is coming back now. It was a beautiful performance, but it didn't have the jumps, and that's what this technical program is about, landing those triples.
And skated a bit unevenly, Yuka Sato. Will she be able to hold on to her World Pro title? Kristi Yamaguchi wonders. We'll have her marks when we return to Landover, Maryland.
Hamilton, Torville and Dean, and more. The Discover Stars on Ice, Saturday on NBC.
NBC Thursday.
Hi. Thunder's Elfie Schlegel at the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships. where Kristi Yamaguchi will skate next.
And Kristi is clearly the crowd favorite, but it's the judges she needs to impress. She knows she needs a clean program. They know what she can deliver, and they're going to expect it of her. She knows Yuka made a few mistakes, and these marks are low. She knows those judges are being tough.
9.7, 9.7, and 9.8.
9 7s and 9 8s on the technical portion of the scores.
And this is the moment where you're trying to keep your mind from scrambling. You're listening to those marks. You're thinking of your jumps. You're concentrating.
9.7, 9.8, 9.8, and 9.8.
Now's the time to block it all out and do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristi Yamaguchi.
And no one is better at that concentration than Kristi. Yuka had 5 triples planned. She only landed 2. Kristi has 4. She cannot afford any mistakes.
Skating a tango, of all things.
Planned is the Lutz. Now remember, that is the jump that Yuka missed. Very solid triple flip, and now it's time to tango.
I don't recall seeing a single skater skate a tango.
Not a real common piece of music for a solo skater. It's more something a dance team would use. But this is where Kristi has taken this program and put all the very difficult steps in it. Out of a little bit. The jump she missed last year in this same competition, a little bit of a ghost hanging around there, I think. Little move. You could see her sort of laugh at herself. All these steps are so intricate and difficult, and they actually take as much concentration as the triple jumps.
It's a measure of how consistent a skater Kristi is, that even a slight bobble is like a 5-alarm fire.
Whoa, you never see Kristi miss a triple toe right at the end of a program. She must have let up that concentration just a little bit.
Kristi Yamaguchi, I don't know, that smile might be a little forced right at the moment.
Well, overall, it was a very solid performance. I'm sure that triple toe bugs her a little bit, but such a great program. She deserves to feel proud of that. You see her shaking her head like, what was that?
Even Yuka's shaking her head.
After 2 solid triples in the opening of this program, she struggled on the loop. You'll see here her feet got too crossed. She got twisted in the air and just couldn't hold on to that landing. She hit the heel instead of the toe and flipped out forward, but she still fought to stay on her feet. Unlike this triple toe, which again got twisted in the air and forced her to just sort of sit.
And a shock to see her sit. You saw her bop herself on the head with the flowers as she was coming off the ice.
Christy's very hard on herself. She's not used to making mistakes.
Oh, wow. You just sat down. You just sat down. You just looked like
Her coach Christy Ness saying, you just sat down, as Christy asked, what was that? And see what the judges think it was. Well, pretty good start. Oh, a 9.9. How could that be?
That's because that same judge gave Yuka a 9.8. Christy landed the lutz and the flips, which was more difficult than Yuka's loop and sow. He had to give her a 9.9. Ooh, a 9.7 is actually an unfair mark. This program was so technically difficult with all the steps and the moves. 9.7 was way too low.
Elsie?
Christy, there's so much pressure out there. You can feel it in the air. Were you nervous at all?
I mean, just the usual nervous jitters before I compete, but you know, it felt really good tonight. I started out extremely strong, which was a big challenge of mine this year, and I'm just disappointed with that last jump.
I was going to say no problem with the triple lutz this time, but what happened at the end?
I think I just let it go. I thought everything was going so well, and maybe just didn't fight on it as much as I should have.
Thanks very much.
And to this point in the competition, we haven't seen a score of 10. The judges have been warned about gratuitous 10s.
Well, Carrie Leach, the referee, told the judges a 10 has to be not only for a perfect performance, but for the performance of that skater's life. These skaters now have to fight for these 10s, where in the past they were thrown out more as crowd pleasers.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Ekaterina Gordieva.
And what must be going through the mind of Ekaterina Gordieva? 3 times with her late husband, Sergei Grinkov, she won the World Professional Pairs Championship. Now takes the ice in the same arena as a single skater.
Katya is dealing not as much with the nerves tonight again as with the memories of Sergei. This is a big, intimidating building, and even though she doesn't have Sergei's hand to hold, every person in this audience is going to support her and hold her up to this performance. Her first jump, a double axel. A little outside the circle, couldn't hold on. Put a double toe on the end.
Remember, as a pair skater, she was used to being thrown into these jumps. Now she has to supply the power herself.
And yet to compete with these girls, she's had to go back and put a triple toe in her program, which she hasn't done since 1990, side by side with Sergei.
And a small cry of despair as she fell.
And yet you'll notice she's still smiling. 50-50. Katya wasn't happy with the fall. She tried the same jump again.
Ekaterina Gordieva. And I think the crowd in Landover is saying what we all feel, that those mistakes mattered not at all. And we'll return to Landover for Katya's scores and more of the ladies' competition in just a moment.
Today, facing our Good As Your Word audience applause meter, two marketing executives, different satellite TV companies.
Now, sir, you claim with Prime Star, monthly programming starts at about $1 a day, and there's no dish to buy?
True.
Ooh, impressive. Now, sir, you claim your dish costs $199.
True.
And there's...
We return to Landover, Maryland. The next skater will be Karen Kadavy, the final skater for the ladies' technical program. The leader so far is Kristi Yamaguchi. Now the scores for Ekaterina Gordieva.
9.4, 9.6.
Well, you're hearing some booing for those low marks, and obviously there's an emotional attachment with Katya out there, but she didn't deliver the goods. If she's going to compete with these girls, she can't make three major mistakes.
And still she has the smile.
Artistic marks, 9.8.
And the artistic mark much higher, as you would expect.
9.8.
And she did deserve these marks.
9.8, 9.8, and 9.7.
And Elfie Schlegel is with Katya.
Katya, the first time you're skating at the World Pros as a single skater, how did it feel?
Oh, it's very important competition. It's honor to skate in this competition, and I have a lot of memories as well here, so it's difficult, but it's fun too. I have a lot of friends around.
Good luck in the artistic.
Thanks.
Rosalind, one wonders if she'll ever be able to compete for the championship here.
Well, actually, that's up to Katya. She's skating right now for very emotional reasons. Who knows, in the next year or so, she wants to continue as a solo skater.
And now the final ladies skater, Karen Kadavy, who earned a spot here by winning a qualifying tournament in Canada.
Karen definitely deserves to be in this competition. She's been skating so solid, winning competitions. She's at the best form of her life. Opening with a triple toe loop. She has a command of the ice that we did not see here 2 years ago. Following with a triple sow. Just a double.
This music is a Bach piece performed by Vanessa May, the young violinist.
Little hand down the double axel. If you'll notice, the ice is getting very frosty at this point. She's the last skater. Changes the feel. It changes your speed. It changes the entrances into your jumps.
Karen Kadavi. Skating perhaps with fewer expectations and perhaps less pressure. Well done.
It's a hard place to skate last, all the other girls being done. She really did hold up under the pressure. She landed one good triple toe. Little trouble on the double axel here, not enough height.
My hand over my double axel was a little stupid. It was not right.
Actually, looking at the replay, she didn't have the height, so putting the hand down wasn't stupid, but she felt it was.
9.6, 9.7, 9.7, 9.6.
Well, she didn't have the technical ability of Christy or Yuka, landing only one triple, so those marks are right on.
And now the artistic marks.
Well, these should definitely go up.
9.6, 9.6, 9.7, 9.7, 9.8, and 9.8.
And those marks will put Karen Kadavi in third place. After the ladies' technical program, the leaders, Christy Yamaguchi, Yuka Sato, and Karen Kadavi. Now a power-packed men's field will skate. 5 skaters, all capable of winning the championship. We'll return to Landover for the men's competition in just a moment.
Now a 6-minute warm-up for the gentlemen. Kurt Browning, Victor Petrenko, Rudy Galindo, Brian Boitano, and Paul Wiley.
When Brian Boitano was 8 years old, he put on his first pair of skates. 6 months later, he learned 5 jumps in one day. "25 years later, he skates in Landover for the 8th time in an event in an arena where he is king. 2 years ago, Kurt Browning stepped into Brian's house. It was a devastating debut. He's known as the natural, his potential unfulfilled, until last year, right here in Brian's house.
The warm-up is now over. Please clear the ice.
It drives the other guys crazy. He just never makes a mistake. No one has this kind of technical strength. No one has this kind of mental strength.
Kurt Browning, brilliant when he sets his mind to it. Embarrassing when he doesn't. I'm struck by the contrast between his performance last year and this year. He accepted Boitano's challenge this year, when last year he just was not up to it physically or mentally. And a total 49.9, matching Boitano's score in the technical program. That means Brian must now skate flawlessly to retain the title.
One thing Brian isn't going to do is come out here and dance.
Brian Boitano, and did he rise to the challenge like a champion?
Scores for Brian Boitano. 10, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8, and 9.8.
Last year, Kurt Browning became the anointed one.
Kurt Browning surprised as anyone with the championship last year, but now starting again as an equal and one of just 5 contenders for the title.
Just yesterday, Kurt Browning was saying all 5 are feeling great, all 5 are skating well, and I guess you better come here, Rosalind, with a good technical program.
Well, not only do you have to come absolutely trained and prepared, but you have to come with a triple axel. 4 of the men have them planned. Paul was working on his the last week. He couldn't handle the pressure. He's taking it out. So for Paul, he has to skate an absolutely clean program. No room for mistakes for any of these guys.
You know, we've seen how much the pressure of this competition has affected the ladies' performance. Might the winner here be the man who can best block out that pressure?
Well, you can come out here and you can think the nerves and the tension and the pressure are under control, but what it does, and it can happen very unexpected, is it drains you, it zaps your energy, it takes the fun out of it. They're going to have to go out there, they're going to have to block that out, nail that first triple axel, and then just no room for loss of confidence, no insecurities. They have to stay on top of their game.
And here is the skate order. And Kurt Browning has been very nervous about being the first skater out there on the ice and has not truthfully looked very good in practice leading up to this competition.
He is very sporadic. He has 6 triples planned. Again, starting with the triple axel.
He'll be skating to a Nat King Cole medley.
As a rule, man's a fool. When it's hot, he wants it cool. When it's cool, he wants it hot. Always wanting what is not. Are you disenchanted? Disenchanted with love? Can you find the rainbow you always dreaming of? Why doesn't love appear? Or do you suppose?
Here comes. This is the heavy. This is the triple axel.
Is right here under your nose. Oh,
that solid triple axel will set the tone for this program for Kurt. He's going to feed off the security of that strong opening.
Not a normal skate for Kurt, sort of Kurt acting.
But this is Kurt as his best. Suave, debonair, and you know, he's a stud.
He says this is the story of Kurt falling in love with a Spanish woman, his wife, Sonia. It ends with a proposal.
Having a ball? Sure you are. And just when you're ready to pitch it all, you're through looking, you're through caring, you're through dreaming. You've had it. And one day out of left field, there she is. At the airport in sunny Spain, I had 2 hours to catch a plane. I was lonely as I could be until a senorita smiled at me. There was music in the cars, and in her eyes were a million stars. She was lovely beyond compare, and in that moment I learned to care.
Well, not only is the music picking up pace, but he's picking up pace in the triples. Triple sound, triple toe combination.
When did you first discover love? That wonderful moment when the world takes on a new and beautiful glow. Your senses whirl. Your heart stops. Your pulse stops. And life begins.
Well, for all our talk about pressure and nerves, I almost want to say he's having fun.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. Is even more than anyone that you adore can love. Is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me.
Triple toe at the end of the program.
And love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you.
Yes, he's the defending champion, and yet he skated like it. Kurt Browning at his best.
And he proposed to those judges, this was my best, I just gave it to you.
And the message sent to Brian Boitano, can you top this?
Well, Kurt sent out a message with that first triple axel, telling the other guys, just try to follow me. Here he is, perfect takeoff, so high, and swoosh of a landing. And not only did he complete all 5 triples, but he fills the program with all the interesting connecting footwork steps. Very cool. Well, Kurt has set his pace. He's set the pace of the other men. 4 guys now have to follow this. It's going to be tough.
And the score is about ready. A little bit of a dilemma for the judges since Kurt was the first skater. Do you leave room for Brian and the others to follow?
Ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks for Kurt Browning.
First set of marks for Kurt Browning.
9.8. 9.8. 9.8.
Again, the reason those aren't higher, the reason they are at 9.9, they know 3 other men have a triple axel plan.
9.8.
9/8 across the board. Here are the artistic marks.
The artistic marks.
These should go up higher.
9.8.
Come on.
9.9.
Thank you.
And indeed, they are higher.
9.8. 9.9. 9.9.
Well, the other guys can rival him technically, but none of them will have a program with that artistic quality.
Now, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, how would you like to follow that performance? That's the task facing Victor Petrenko, but the Olympic gold medalist is used to pressure. Let's see how he performs in the wake of Kurt's great opening skate.
Again, he's used to pressure, but sometimes Victor can start a program strong and sort of fizzle near the ending.
Program is Tosca by Puccini, only the 4th time he's performed it. His wife Nina helped build it. Victor portraying the tragic love story of Tosca. His wife studied ballet, so she was very familiar with this music. That's why she helped build this program. Victor, too, studied ballet in his early years, though he said for him it was always a way to improve his skating.
And, of course, here comes the triple axel.
Well, it's obvious the other skaters aren't going to allow Kurt Browning to steal the competition, are they?
Well, they're at least going to challenge him, that's for sure. Than Kurt Browning. He may be meeting the challenge with the triples, but so far, no footwork. He actually is going to try a second triple axel. Wow. But the program was completely clean. A mistake is a mistake. Triple axels. He is thrilled with that performance.
Victor Petrenko playing it to its theatrical hilt and a solid technical program as well.
Again, two solid triple axels, but we're going to take a look at the takeoff of the triple Lutz. Watch his left ankle closely. How far over on the outside edge, almost to the point of being on the boot. He has to crank it around, fight to get up into the air, but hangs on to that landing. Now on the triple toe, again, the toe cranks over, but on this, he almost rotated backwards. He never even got up into the air straight, couldn't even finish the rotation. But he still fought hard.
So under difficult circumstances, Victor Petrenko comes out and skates well. And that is not real blood, by the way. He will get over that, what appeared to be mortal wound. But yeah, that score will help too.
9.9.
Another one.
9.9. 9.7.
Actually, there's quite a range there between 9.7 and 9.9. He did make a mistake that Kurt didn't have. Look at Kurt's a little confused, like, huh? I'm not too sure. But he did 2 triple axles.
9.7. 9.8. 9.9.
Again, those marks being lower. The program was emotional, but it didn't have the pizzazz of Kurt Browning.
9.7.
Scores all over the place,
9.7.
but not good enough to catch Kurt Browning. And about this time, Rudy Galindo is wondering, what am I doing here after seeing Kurt Browning and Victor Petrenko skate that well?
Well, he may be a new professional, but he deserves to be here. He is a national champion, and he is a world bronze medalist. He wants this debut to be remembered.
And getting some final encouragement from his coach and sister Laura as Brian Boitano paces backstage. Galindo and Boitano still to skate.
Through the years,
Maryland, where 6-time World Pro Champion Brian Boitano is yet to skate.
Now, ladies and gentlemen.
But first, making his world professional debut, here's Rudy Galindo, the U.S. champion from San Jose. This is actually his second professional competition. He said in the first one he was very nervous, so his goal here is to relax, have fun. If he does that, he thinks the skating will take care of itself.
Well, he's been skating great in practice, and again, he's got a triple axel planned.
Angelus Domini, nunciavit Mariae, et concepit Spiritus Sancto.
Rudy has not yet landed the triple axel as a professional skater.
There's a first, and he appears to be relaxed.
Success came later for Rudy in his amateur career, and he told me he feels so honored to be out here with this field of men's skaters. Triple loop. Oop, little fall out of it. He hasn't missed that all week in practice. That's where the nerves of a first time in Landover will affect you.
Performance of Ave Maria is by the Fleet Street Singers from Stanford University in his home Northern California area.
Triple toe, double toe, he's a little shaky. This performance is a dedication to the loss of 2 coaches and his brother George to AIDS.
And a big smile from Rudy Galindo, his first appearance in Landover.
Rudy
You see him looking down. Look, on the bottom of his right leg, one of the straps on his trousers came loose. It didn't seem to affect his performance, which was a good performance. Was it good enough, though, for this level of competition?
Well, he should be very proud of himself, but no, actually, the strength of the jumps and the choreography not up to par with Victor and Kurt.
And you saw Brian Boitano just edging. There's that strap. He refastens it now. Brian Boitano just coming on the ice past Laura, Rudy's sister and coach. I'm sure relieved, though, very relieved, Rudy and Laura, because he was very nervous in his first pro performance. This one much better.
Ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks for Rudy Galindo. 9.7.
And Rudy's scores begin
9.7
with a couple of 9.7s.
9.7. 9.7.
Again, he only landed 3 triples, and the loop he fell out of.
And
those marks are right on.
The artistic mark, 9.9.
9.9. He's obviously pleased at that, and overall he looks to be very happy with his mark.
9.8. 9.7. 9.8. And 9.8.
97.3, and Kurt Browning is still the man to catch. He's the leader, but threatened by this man,
Ladies
Brian
and gentlemen,
Boitano.
Brian Boitano.
Last year, Brian was going after his 7th World Pro title, and there was little difference between his performance and Kurt Browning. The judges chose Browning. Brian thought he should have won. Skating for a bit of redemption tonight.
Well, Brian's a very seasoned professional. He's used to being in this position of having the pressure on him. Starts out here with a tonneau Lutz.
His signature move, and at 33, he still can get up in the air on his jumps.
And here comes the triple axel. Watch the height Brian gets on this jump. Brian, he cannot afford those kinds of mistakes tonight.
That could be the difference in this competition. He told me that both ankles were tender prior to this competition. He said he was okay to skate, but it was tough to get ready. Does that play a part here?
Well, Brian is so highly trained that taking a couple days off for an injury shouldn't really matter. But what will happen is he will be cautious out here in the performance. this performance from Brian didn't have the passion that we're used to seeing. He's a perfectionist. He expects perfection, and so do the judges. It's going to reflect in his marks.
Including that almost unprecedented fall.
The power and height is what Brian is known for in the triple axel. He gets it in the air, but can't quite hold on to the landing. Has to put his hand down, goes right into a double toe. Again now, the only one that hasn't landed the triple axel clean. The triple flip, Brian's most consistent jump, never got the height, couldn't finish the rotation. Again, the fall that you are not used to seeing from him.
Oh, well. And you might have heard Brian tell Linda Lever, his coach, oh, well. An unusual reaction from Brian Boitano. Kurt Browning watching it on the TV set backstage, not showing any signs of pleasure, but has to feel a little more comfortable in the lead.
Now that is a mark you don't see for Brian. Again, you're used to seeing 9 9s and 10s. Not getting the 10s, but these are very low for Brian. 2 9-6s.
Almost disbelief on Brian's face, and Kurt's too.
9.7, 9.7, 9.8. 9.8, 9.7, 9.8, and 9.7.
Brian, we're always so used to your consistency. Was that a first, the fall that you can remember here in Landover?
Yeah, definitely his first fall.
What happened?
I think I felt a lot of pressure. You know, when people always expect consistency, it's just nerve-wracking. So it's tough to always keep that level up.
Good luck with the artistic.
Brian has said the toughest part of being Brian, the expectations,
ladies and gentlemen,
his own and
Paul
others.
Wiley.
And so at least Paul Wiley is the man that will try to catch Kurt Browning now in this technical program.
And this is the tough position to skate in for Paul last. All the other guys have skated cleanly. He's heard their marks. The pressure is on him now.
And appropriately enough, the music is from The Mission. That does not have a triple axel plan. In this competition last year, he was suffering from a groin injury, which prevented him from doing the triple axel. He hasn't done one in competition since. He thought seriously about it here, but scratched it at the last minute.
Slight mishap on the landing of the triple flip. Not having a triple axel has really affected Paul's confidence. It's a bit of a character question. Do I deserve to be out here with these other men? It did affect his confidence. He let it bother him. He didn't even do the double axel. He turned it into a single. Turned a triple toe Wally into a double.
almost like this program is in slow motion.
Well, there's a layer of frost on the ice, and I can tell you when this happens, it is like skating through mud.
Paul Wiley, and problems all over the place for the 1993 World Pro Champion. You have to wonder if it isn't maybe his final performance here, certainly one of his least satisfying, one of his worst performances ever.
Not bad for skating on paint.
Sounded like he was complaining about the frost on the ice.
So bad.
Yeah, the ice is so bad.
Oh well. It feels like I was on a treadmill.
Paul Wiley. 9.5. 9.6.
Well, ice problems or not, the other guys skated fine, and the judges had to mark it like they saw it.
9.6. 9.5.
I'm out of here.
9.5.
Well, in terms of the competition, he is effectively out of here with these scores.
9.7. 9.7. 9.7.
Well, that deal wasn't very good.
9.8 and 9.7.
So after the technical program, Kurt Browning is the leader over Victor Petrenko and Brian Boitano, with the issue to be decided tomorrow night with the men's artistic program.
Yeah!
If I only knew what I could do to make you love me, to make you love me, yeah. What I could do to make you happy. If I only knew what I should do to make you happy, to make you happy. If I only knew what I could do. If I only knew what I should do to make you love me, make you love me.
And we'd love to have you join us tomorrow night for the conclusion of the World Pro Figure Skating Championships. Tom Hammond for Rosalind Summers and Elfie Schlegel saying so long from Landover.
The World Professional Figure Skating Championships are brought to you by NutraSweet. Sometimes it's nice to have something sweet.
Coming up next, confessions from one of the teams.
The Senior Skins Game on ABC Sports.
Last night, Brian Boitano returned to Landover to regain a title he thought he owned. Great expectations for himself and from his fans. Then the unthinkable. Now he's in third place. Last year, Kurt Browning did what was once considered unbelievable, defeating Brian Boitano in Brian's house. Tonight, Kurt Browning is in the lead, defending his title. In second place, Victor Petrenko. He's never been so close. Kristi Yamaguchi, the ladies' leader. Mistakes have left the two-time champion vulnerable.
Packed house in Landover, Maryland, where the empty ice awaits the skaters for the conclusion of the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Landover. Tom Hammond and Rosalind Sumners, as tonight we crown the world professional champions in pairs, dance, ladies, and men's singles. We'll be bringing you the artistic programs worth 50% of the final score. And Rosalind, last night in the technical program, we saw Kristi Yamaguchi skate certainly not her best, but well enough to take a pretty sizable lead. Can anybody catch her?
Well, Kristi made some mistakes on some very easy jumps. She's very disappointed in herself. She can keep the lead, but for her own self-respect and for herself, she has to skate with an inspired, solid performance. She's going to have to be on top of her game so the other girls can't catch her.
And in the men's competition, what a shock to see Brian Boitano down in the standings. And I guess for Kurt Browning, it's pretty much his to lose.
Well, we've never seen Brian Boitano fall. We've never seen him look so flat, so uninspired. Kurt Browning went out. He set the pace for the men with a solid, clean performance. He's on a high. He has the best artistic performance he's ever had planned tonight. And Victor and Brian are going to have a hard time catching up to Kurt.
But the pair skaters are on the ice first, and we could be seeing the end of an era tonight. And for more on that, let's go to Elfie Schlegel.
Thanks, Tom. Well, after a 20-year partnership, it all comes down to this very special number. Not a Day Goes By is the title of Underhill and Martini's artistic program. They have won this event 7 times in their 10 years they have appeared here in Landover. Barb says this is one of the toughest programs she has ever skated. In fact, she was quite emotional when she was telling me about it the other day. It's a personal program. It's a selfish choice, they both say, because this is not for the audience. This number is for Barb and Paul.
After the technical program, Underhill and Martini were in second place. Betsky and Petrov with a sizable lead heading to this artistic program. And since the skaters skate in reverse order of their standings after the technical program, it means Kavarakova and Novotny will skate first, the defending champions who had their problems in the technical skate.
And their romantic artistic program, variations on a theme of Paganini by Rachmaninoff.
And that first mishap ending any hope they may have had of repeating as champions here.
From the Czech Republic, Radka Kavarakova and Renee Novotny. They won the championship here last year. They will not repeat.
Well, Tom, they were pretty far behind in the technical marks. This program just didn't have the maturity to pull them up.
A beautiful piece of music they selected, but if you're going to take music that beautiful, your choreography has to be up to it, and in some cases it was not.
And with a little insecurity on the choreography, they chose to put in a throw triple sow, and even though this isn't a technical program, a mistake is costly. It hurts the pace of the program.
And really, they haven't grown much from last year, and one wonders if winning the championship last year really retarded their progress.
Well, they didn't try anything new this year. They didn't change their music. They stuck with an old formula, and to compete in this group, you have to stretch as an artist.
There are two sets of marks, technical and artistic. Perfect score is a 10. High and low marks are thrown out.
9.7, 9.7, 9.7, and 9.7.
Now the second set of marks, the artistic, more valuable in this, the artistic program.
9.8, 9.8, 9.7, 9.8, 9.7, 9.7, and 9.8.
So a total of 97.3 for the defending champions. And now for their farewell skate in Landover, Underhill and Martini. Their 20-year partnership has spanned personal tragedy, the death of one of Barbara's children. But here at Landover, mostly positive memories, including 7 World Pro titles. Their partnership perhaps summed up in their choice of music, Not a Day Goes By.
Not a day goes by, not a single day. You're not somewhere a part of my life, and I need you to stay. As the days go by, I keep thinking, when does it end? That it can't get much better, much longer. But it only gets better and stronger and deeper and nearer and simpler and freer and richer and clearer. And no, not a day goes by, not a blessed day, but you somewhere come into my life. And you don't go away, and I have to say, if you do, I'll die. I want day after day after day after day after day after day after day, till the days go by.
For 20 years, I skated with the passion and the intense connection of Barbie and Paul. This is a very emotional goodbye.
But you somewhere come into my life, and you don't go away. And I have to say, if you do, I'll die. I want day after day after day after day after day after day after day, till the days go by, till the days go by. Till the days go by.
A bittersweet moment for Barb and Paul.
The World Professional Figure Skating Championships are brought to you by NutraSweet.
Ordinary women who left their homeland to give their daughters a future in America.
No matter what you hope for, I'll never be more than what I am.
For the first time on network television, the Joy Luck Club at a special time, 8/7 Central, NBC Monday.
Championships where Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini have just skated their final performance at this competition.
9.7, 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, and 9.8.
And considering all the emotion that's passed between these two and between them and the crowd, the marks really aren't that important, but very good artistic marks here, as you see.
9.8, 9.9,
and let's go to Elfyn Schlegel.
Barb and Paul, this is a very special number, obviously, for the two of you. What were you saying to each other out there?
It was very emotional. It was the kind of thing where it was almost too much in the groove. I think I was just right into the number and forgot I should have checked harder on the throw, but still it was a very special moment.
Paul, 20 years together.
Oh, 20 years is the best years of my life. I wouldn't do it again for any differently for anything in the world, and to come here and skate like this is just great.
You guys are great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And now the door is wide open for Elena Betsky and Dennis Petrov to claim their first world professional title. 4 times here they have finished second. And skating to a piece of music called Romance.
Which is ironic because they are no longer married. And even with that separation emotionally, they have matured, they have grown, they work together, they tour together, and they are ready to win this title.
Elena Betsky and Denis Petrov given a chance to win their first World Pro title, and they come through with a beautiful artistic program.
And they're winning it with a program with all the elements: technical, artistic, passion, and magic.
Watching this competition, though, one wonders about the depth of professional pair skaters. Is this discipline in a little bit of trouble?
It is, Tom. As the great personalities of the last 10 years retire, there are no new teams to challenge the innovation of Betsky and Petrov. Even in the amateur ranks, the teams are weak. Elena and Denis are very much a part of the creative side of their programs, inventing new lifts and spins, such as this right here. A seamless connection from the lift down his back, very unusual position, heading right into a spin. Different positions in the spin, a lift in the middle. Again, very creative, very different.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks.
And the scores, and these should just be a formality for Betsky and Petrov.
9.9.
And indeed,
9.9.
ensuring them the title. In fact, the judges were warned not to give gratuitous 10s. Looks like they took that to heart.
9.9.
Well, they deserve those marks across the board, and these should be just as high.
9.9. 9.9. 9.9. 9.9. 9.9. 9.9. And 9.9.
Elfie?
Elena, Denis, congratulations. You have both been unbeatable this season, but this is your first World Professional title. How's it feel?
I'm very happy, extremely happy.
Tell me about the program.
I can't even describe how happy I am. And the program was good. We think it went fine, and I think we did it for each other, because that's what Denis told me right before the program. Let's just do it for each other.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Betsky and Petrov break through with their first World Professional Championship. Still to be decided, the ladies' competition. Will Kristi Yamaguchi regain her title? Or will Yuka Sato repeat? NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships. Tom Hammond, Rosalind Sumners, Elfie Schlegel. And backstage, Kristi Yamaguchi and Katarina Witt await their turn on the ice for the artistic program. After the technical program, Kristi Yamaguchi with the lead over Yuka Sato, Karen Kadavi, Katarina Witt, and Ekaterina Gordieva. They skate the artistic program in reverse order, so Ekaterina Gordieva will be on the ice first.
Now the ladies' competition begins with Ekaterina Gordieva.
Katya is not here tonight with hopes of winning this competition. In the technical program, she faced the memories of skating with her late husband, Sergei, in this same building. Now tonight, she can enjoy the performance and feel what it is to be a solo skater.
This music from the Peer Gynt Suite by Edvard Grieg seems perfectly suited for it.
Each performance as a solo skater gets easier and easier for Katja. This is the first time she clearly looks at ease and comfortable out there by herself.
Still, she looks so fragile, almost like her young daughter, Daria.
Well, she may look fragile, Tom, but she has a strength well beyond her years.
For the heartache she's been through, you know that is true. And it must be so difficult because you can't even watch her as an observer and not think of Sergei Grinkov.
But she is choosing to skate so that we all will remember her and Sergei together.
And, of course, her tender and inspirational book, My Sergei, A Love Story, continues to be a bestseller. It's been on the bestseller list for months now. In fact, at one time, #1 on the New York Times list.
The last time she landed this triple tone competition was in 1990, side by side with Sergei. Here, a look at her beautiful layback with a variation on the arms, something you did not see from Katja when she was a pair skater.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks for...
And now the scores for Ekaterina Gordieva. And as we said after the technical program, these scores are really not what it's all about as Katja skates.
9.7, 9.6, 9.6, and 9.7. The artistic mark.
Artistic marks.
9.9.
As we guess they might be 9.9. 9.8.
Michael Siebert being the choreographer of her program. She deserves these marks.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Katarina Witt.
Katarina Witt next for her artistic program, skating Sister's Keeper, sung by the composer Susan Berman, who sent Katarina the music, written for the suffering women of the world, especially those in Bosnia. Kat, of course, won her first Olympic gold medal in Sarajevo.
I am my sister's keeper, her stories fill the page. 20,000 women raped, all prisoners of rage. In the temple of her body, hidden among the ruins, she's lying. Her voice without a scream, falling from the ceiling back into her dream. Nightmares made of soldiers, children made from wounds. She's crying with the angels, dying with the angels, mourning with the angels. In the calm of twilight, every breath she draws, tends her broken body wrapped in silken gauze. Her face turned from the window, blind eyes open too. She's breathing with the angels, praying with the angels, singing with the angels. I am my sister's keeper, following the tide. Piece of all that's sacred has surfaced from inside. I'm holding on to loving, I'm holding on to you. We are all the angels, sleeping, praying angels, singing, dying angels. Say a tune for the holy, put a candle on the sea. And the wind behind me. Play a tune for the holy, put a candle on the sea. And the wind behind me. Play a tune for the holy, put a candle on the sea. And the wind behind me.
An absolutely gorgeous and emotional program from Katarina Witt.
Katarina says she prefers shows to competitions these days. She calls competition pure stress, but does it to satisfy her athlete's heart. One wonders how much longer we'll see her in competition. And we'll return with Katarina's scores and the conclusion of the ladies' competition in just a moment. World Professional Figure Skating Championships. It appears the ladies' title will come down to Yuka Sato, the defending champion. Her skate in the artistic program, if she can best Kristi Yamaguchi.
Now, ladies and
They
gentlemen,
have yet
the
to skate.
technical marks
First,
for
let's check
Katarina
the
Witt.
scores of Katarina Witt, who a moment ago completed
9.6.
her artistic program.
9.6. 9.6.
I know she looks a little frustrated and not too sure about that, but she only did one jump. That 9.5 reflects the fact that she only did one double axel.
The artistic mark.
Artistic marks should be higher.
9.7.
They should.
9.8.
Not sure what that 9.7 is. I mean, Katarina put her heart and soul into that
9.8.
number.
9.7.
Well, one wonders about the artistic judgment.
9.8.
And Katarina distraught as she drops to last
Ladies
place.
and gentlemen, Karen Kadavi.
Now here's the unheralded Karen Kadavi, skated very well in the technical program, looking for that one.
The technical marks for Karen Kadavi.
Karen Kadavi, just overjoyed. Here are her marks.
Hugging her choreographer, Leanne Miller, who has really brought out her personality. And these marks really show that.
9.8.
And of course, the person who supports her the most, a big hug and kiss from Brett, her husband. Everybody hug.
9.8. 9.8.
I really thought we'd see more 9.9s here.
Actually, you know what, Tom? Those should absolutely have been higher.
She has every right to be disappointed. There should have been 9 9s across the board.
You wonder if the judges weren't looking at her resume rather than her performance on the ice.
Well, they should have looked at the magic is what they should have seen, and nothing else but that.
Well, the skaters know how well she performed, and the one that has to follow her, Yuka Sato, is going to try to change the whole mood here. Skating to Brazilica, a really fast Latin beat. And the smallest things sometimes are troublesome. The costume is brand new. She only tried it on less than 24 hours ago, and the jingles on it were distracting her in practice.
Not only is the costume new, but the whole style of skating for Yuka is new. She was criticized last year for coming out with a very simple number that didn't challenge her, and this is what she decided. She wanted to skate to something that showed off her footwork.
Days when you don't feel good and everything looks so sad. When you get up from your bed, using your left foot not knowing what to do with your life, so you turn on the radio looking for music. But you can only hear waste, waste, only waste. Then you return to bed and decide to pay a visit for the places you've never seen before. Because you walk. So you walk and walk and walk. What does it mean?
I really like this number and this style on Yuka. She gets so much respect as a professional because she doesn't stick with the same formula. She's always pushing herself, trying something new. In this number, what makes the footwork so great, if you'll notice, she's always going against the edges. Her edge goes one way, all of a sudden the body is going another. It's very difficult.
What is this? We are in heaven.
Yuka Sato, her artistic program, Rosalind, was that strong enough to retain the title with Kristi Yamaguchi still to skate?
Well, she made a few mistakes on the jumps, but artistically, I think that's one of the best programs of the evening.
Is it a personal taste, though? It was a little unconventional.
But I think that's the push, that's the stretch, that's what makes an artist. She should get scored for that.
Kristi Yamaguchi slipping through the shadows to take the ice. Her artistic program will be the last program skated. Here are the scores for Yuka Sato.
9.8, 9.8, 9.7.
I don't think those will be enough to overtake Kristi Yamaguchi if Kristi skates a clean artistic program.
9.6 and
especially with a 9.6 in there, though it is eliminated.
The artistic mark.
Now these marks should go up.
9.7.
I feel they should be higher than that. The number was lyrical, it was whimsical.
9.9.
It was very different than the other girls.
9.8.
That's what the judges want to see, something different, not the same material every year.
Well, they're obviously not on the same page. In fact, the score is ranging from 9.7 to 9.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristi Yamaguchi.
And so now Kristi Yamaguchi, the door left open for her to regain her championship with a clean artistic program. She's skating O Mio Bambino Puccini, the story of a young girl asking permission from her father to marry. She asks and gets approval and is thrilled, seeing life from a new perspective. First time for the program.
This number choreographed by Kevin Cottom, and it is a style that Kristi is very comfortable with. She is in her element, and here a triple flip. Well, I have no clue what she just did. She went to step into the jump. She didn't even try the jump. I've never seen Kristi do that. She didn't even attempt anything. Right now she's thinking, what have I done? Now she has to regroup and get the concentration back.
Was it a mental lapse, or were her skates not in the proper position, or just what was it?
That can happen. It's just a mental lapse. You get there, who knows why it happens? You get there, you don't know where you are. Again, this is an artistic program, so the missed, omitted triple flip doesn't matter. But what I'm sensing is this number has no depth. This is very simple for Kristi. The number was pretty, but I don't feel that it had the spark and the energy of both Yuka and Karen Kadavy.
I don't know how many times after a Kristi Yamaguchi performance we've said, wow, or great. And you don't feel moved to say that after this number.
She wants to keep winning these titles. She is definitely going to have to keep pushing herself artistically, and this number did not do that. We're going to take a look at the triple flip that really was nothing. I mean, she never even tried the jump. Just did a three-turn and kept going. That's actually very rare and unusual, and when it happens, it's sort of a shock.
That's the weirdest thing.
You look like you lost your balance. You look like you was racing.
It's like I almost forgot what I was doing.
Well, it was indeed a weird thing, and now with the championship on the line, here are the marks.
Well, you can tell she's a little shocked at that silly mistake on the triple flip.
9.7.
Marks are a little high. I mean, Yuka should have definitely been higher with the difficulty in her program, the footwork, the dancing. Again, this program was simple for Christy. We'll see what the artistic marks do.
Very generous judging. And a 9.9, I'm shocked at that. Are they judging on reputation here or on performance?
I would say by those 9.9s, that's a reputation mark right there.
And again, a wide range from 9.7 to 9.9, but good enough to give Christy the title. Here's Elfie.
Okay, Christy, I heard you say that was the weirdest thing. Were you referring to the jump there or the missed jump?
Well, hopefully. Yeah, it was, I've never ever done that before in my life, and it was just like, I don't know what I was thinking. It just got away from me, and I didn't know where I was.
Obviously, you're happy to have the title back. Was this the way you expected to win your title back?
Not at all. I mean, with the level of competition here at Landover, it's always the best skaters professionally. They always put up a tough fight. I think I was very lucky tonight.
Nice program. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Christy seemed almost embarrassed as she claimed her third World Professional Championship. Karen Kadavy actually won the artistic program. Yuka Sato skated well in the artistic program, too, but because Christy Yamaguchi had such a wide lead after the technical program, she takes home the overall title, especially in part to some generous judging on her artistic program. So Christy Yamaguchi wins with Yuka Sato second and Karen Kadavy finishing third. And the men are still to skate, but when we come back to Landover, we'll take a look at the winning ice dancing performance of Torvill and Dean.
You've seen chicken like this.
To Landover, the men's title still up for grabs. Will Brian Boitano win it for the 7th time? Or will Kurt Browning repeat, visiting there with his former training partner, Christy Yamaguchi?
Ladies and gentlemen, James Torvill and Christopher Dean.
But before the men skate, let's go back and take a look at the winning artistic performance in ice dancing from Torvill and Dean. And you thought a hat trick was only in hockey. Torvill and Dean with their artistic performance that won for them their 5th World Professional title.
James Torvill and Christopher Dean.
Torvill and Dean besting Klimova and Ponomarenko, with Roca and Serve finishing 3rd. Warming up backstage, that's Kurt Browning, aiming to repeat as World Pro Champion. And now we're ready for the showdown, the men's artistic program. And Brian Boitano, who has won this championship 6 times, sits in 3rd place, in danger of losing this title 2 years in a row. Can he come back?
Well, he's in a very different position of being in 3rd and having to fight for a title. Being in 3rd place hurts the ego. It hurts the confidence. He is skating to Music of the Night, which is a very comfortable program. It's not a stretch artistically for him. He is going to have to skate like lightning has struck him and get the crowd in the palm of his hand for him to reach both Victor and Kurt Browning.
Victor Petrenko is sitting there in 2nd place. Is he a threat?
Well, he has sort of a fun number plan, sort of a rooster, a goofy, silly number, which is fun to see from Victor. But, of course, Kurt Browning is going out. And Kurt Browning, even sitting in 1st place, he is not playing it safe. He is doing one of the most difficult numbers choreographed by an ice dancer. And, I mean, he knows that this number can work, and he is going to just skate his heart out tonight.
Here are the standings after the technical program. Kurt Browning with a 6/10 lead over Victor Petrenko. Brian Boitano 3rd, Rudy Galindo 4th, and Paul Wiley 5th and last place. An unusual spot for Paul. As they skate in reverse order, he will be 1st on the ice. His artistic program, if he chooses to accept this mission, it will be a tough one, redeeming himself after that technical program.
When you're sitting in last place, you have nothing to lose. This is when you pull out all the stops. You go for it, as they say, and Paul knows how to face a challenge. Winning the silver medal in Albertville after a series of struggling performances as an amateur.
2 foot of that landing. Paul Wiley, and unfortunately for him, this whole competition has been an impossible mission. Not the vintage Paul Wiley.
He's capable of much more. I know he's very disappointed in himself. Here he opens up on a simple double axel, doesn't even really complete a single. And yet here he is at the end of the program with enough energy, 2 Russian split jumps into a side stag jump. But again, this will not win the artistic program.
Now the technical marks for Paul Wiley.
What technical he said, and those scores pretty well reflect what he said. Not
9.4.
These marks are embarrassing, but you're right. What technical?
9.5. The artistic mark.
Artistic will be better.
9.7. 9.7.
They're better, but when you make mistakes like that, it interrupts the flow of the program. It interrupts the consistency of the moves. These are right on.
7 and 9.7.
Disappointing performance for the former champion. Next to skate, Rudy Galindo, who last year at 26 became the oldest national champion in 70 years. A long wait in a 15-year skating career to go from a might have been to a champion. Rudy Galindo makes some people uncomfortable. Openly gay, he is a reminder that not everything in figure skating is conventional. He's finally competing in Landover with the best professionals in the world, including his former pairs partner, Kristi Yamaguchi. 7 years ago, they were a team until Kristi left him. Their parting was difficult for Rudy. For his dying father, it was traumatic.
My dad always kept on saying that he was trying to stay alive, to see me make the world or the Olympic team, actually. And that's pretty hard to go back home to the trailer and him sitting there, because he was pretty blind at the time, having so many strokes and being diabetic, to tell him that Chris and I just split up. And that's what he was living for. And to tell him, I think that was more devastating than the actual breakup. To see that tear stream down his face, and, you know, my dad's some big truck driver, and, you know, have that single tear come down, is like, I got really angry at the whole situation. So I said, the best thing for me is to not to try to find a partner, because you can never find somebody as good as Kristi. It was just impossible.
Impossible and unwilling to find a replacement, he discovered a strength and an ability in himself. After the death of so many who were close to him, his father, and to AIDS, his brother, and 2 of his coaches, Rudy finally became the skater he thought he could be with the help of a new partner, his sister.
No one ever expected Rudy to win. No one.
Laura became his anchor, his source of inspiration, his protector.
Rudy has been always very open. He's never hid the fact that he was gay. He doesn't go out and flaunt it. I look at him as a person. I don't look at Rudy as a gay man. I see Rudy as my brother.
I just think it's weird when people ask me about being gay, and I think, what does that have to do with my skating? You know, why are we different? I'm gay, yes, I'm happy. And then they have to throw in being Mexican. I'm proud of eating my tacos and burritos and where I grew up in the trailer. I'm just so proud of that. And it makes me even more proud of how I made it, growing up with no money and being gay and being Mexican, and to win a national title, I could say, hey, I did it. And you had to give it to me.
His is a life in which already much has been overcome. And in his first World Pro Championships, Rudy skated well after the technical program, in 4th place, but within striking distance, as he skates to Babalu in this artistic program, the signature number of 50s band leader Desi Arnaz, the husband of Lucille Ball. In fact, you'll recognize the music as the Lucy theme.
This is a Ricky Ricardo production.
He may be a new professional, but he already knows how to work an audience and play with them. That's what they love. That was great. An awesome showing at his first World Pro Championship.
Rudy Galindo, total encore. We'll have Rudy's scores, and the three leaders will skate when the World Pro Championships continue. Delphi Schlegel, Landover, Maryland, the World Professional Figure Skating Championships.
Hi, Michael. Andy.
Rudy Galindo awaiting his scores as Brian Boitano was circling the ice.
For Rudy Galindo. 9.7.
Rudy was in fourth place after the technical programs. In this artistic program, his technical marks are okay.
They're okay. He didn't do many jumps, but that's not where the focus of the program is. They should go up in this next set.
Now the artistic mark. 9.8. 9.9. 9.8.
Well, it appears the judges liked it.
9.8.
Most of them, anyway.
9.8.
Let's go to Elsie.
Rudy, how did you like your debut here in Landover?
Oh, it was a blast, and I feel like I skated really well, and I had such a good time. Now I could just finally just relax and have a good time.
Well, I think the audience accepted you as a pro skater.
It's great. The audience is just magnificent, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the energy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now Brian Boitano.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Boitano.
If he is to win his 7th World Pro title, he'll have to climb from 3rd place. He had wanted to perform a new Christopher Dean choreographed number here, but it wasn't as perfect as he wanted, so he switched to an old standby, Music of the Night, first performed in 1989.
The judges can look at this program two ways. It is not new, it is not a stretch for him, or because of the fact that it is so familiar and so comfortable, that's usually when the magic comes out in the performance.
This program is so old that for some fans, it's new. They've never seen it.
But the judges have seen it before. They know Kurt and Victor have new material, new programs planned. What'll be interesting to see is if they mark this in a way that will bring Brian up from third place.
The darkness of the music the power of the music
This is Brian's house. He has owned this place 6 times. He's taken away the trophy. Was it good enough to move up from third place?
Well, he fought back from an unusually difficult showing in the technical program, but that isn't necessarily what is going to win this championship tonight.
Brian Boitano.
He appears pleased with his performance. Sometimes those old shoes are the best ones. They feel more comfortable than any others, and certainly the pressure mounting on Kurt Browning, too.
I always get 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks for Brian Boitano.
Victor Petrenko will follow.
9.9.
Good start.
9.9. 9.8.
Good marks, but remember, he's trying to move up from third place. He's got a lot to overcome.
9.8.
Well, Brian's not used to these marks. The judges didn't give him anything higher because they know what Kurt Browning has in store, and they're saving the marks for Kurt.
9.8. 9.9. And 9.8.
So it looks as if it'll be up to Victor Petrenko to try to catch Kurt Browning. Elfie is with Brian Boitano.
Waiting time for you now, Brian, something you're not used to. What do you think?
Oh, I'm just glad that I skated well. I mean, I was so disappointed with how I skated in the technical program and making the mistakes. So I'm pleased that I really hit everything in this and I really skated it well. And I came back. That's a real important part of competition, is being able to come back and do it better the second day than you did the first day.
Great finish. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Victor Petrenko.
Victor Petrenko trying to overcome Kurt Browning and skating his artistic program to a comic number, The Rooster. Dressed like that, I'm not sure I'd let him in my hen house.
Well, it's okay to do a comic routine in some competitions, but I'm not too sure about here in Landover with the quality of competition that you're seeing, especially with the program that Kurt Browning has planned. Again, to tell you the truth, I think this is more of a show program than even a competitive program.
Keep everything in the phone. The dogs begin to bark. Begin to howl. Dogs begin to bark. Hounds begin to howl. Watch out, strange people. Little red roosters on the ground. If you see my little red rooster, please drive him home.
And yet, in between acting like a chicken, he threw in a triple axel. Still trying to make the number competitive. Sure what to make of this from Victor.
Was the rooster enough to overtake Kurt Browning, or did it lay an egg?
Well, I think Victor's very talented. I think he's capable of much more than that.
Kurt Browning will be the final skater. And backstage, Brian Boitano rarely concerns himself with the other competitors. It would take a total Browning collapse for Brian to win. And this will be interesting to see how the judges rank the Rooster program of Victor Petrenko.
The technical
currently in second place.
Petrenko. 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, and 9.8. The artistic
Brian Boitano may move into second place. In fact, it looks like Brian Boitano will pass Victor Petrenko. Despite a couple of 9.9s, he will overtake Petrenko to move into second.
9.9.
So now Kurt Browning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kurt Browning.
His first World Pro Championship performance was embarrassingly bad. Last year, he beat Brian Boitano for the title. It would be one of the great accomplishments of his career to repeat.
Here you're going to see a very original program choreographed by ice dancer Alexander Julin. Clever body positions right there in the camel spin. Not something you see from any of the other men.
He looks so relaxed and confident.
Well, he's got that loose body that can get into any position. That's what makes him so great. He does it with such ease.
There's a portion in this program where Kurt, traveling the world in his mind, is attacked by a snake. He says if you don't recognize it, he hasn't done it well.
Program takes such amazing body control, and in between he can throw in a beautiful triple toe wally, the last jump we just saw.
Kurt Browning displaying some of the best skating of his distinguished career.
Wow, he has skated 2 solid performances here at the World Professional Championships. He deserves the title. The most innovative program we've seen tonight.
And that performance will wrap it up. And there's Brian Boitano coming out. He never looks at the scores of the other competitors. This is highly unusual and perhaps a tribute to the programs of that man, Kurt Browning.
9.8. 9.8.
There's a 9.9.
9.9. 9.7.
Well, the 9.9s were right on with all those triples in between all that unbelievably difficult choreography.
As Brian looks on. And
Hi, Alexander Zulin. Thanks for the great number. Everyone enjoyed it.
9.9. 9.9. 9.9. And 9.9. This concludes our competition. The award ceremony coming up. Please stay with us for that.
Kurt, last year you had something to prove. What about this year?
This year, I've just been enjoying skating. I'm finally getting back to why I went to the rink when I was 13 to begin with, which is to really enjoy it. I feel stronger over my skates, and when I skate, it's for good reasons, not for scared reasons. And it's easy to entertain and maybe even do some triples at the same time, and I'm really enjoying my life.
Congratulations on your second title.
Feels great. Thanks.
so here are the final standings, and perhaps we've seen the passing of the torch as Kurt Browning, for the second consecutive year, defeats Brian Boitano for the World Professional title. Skating some of the best performances of his career, the night belonged to Kurt Browning and to Kristi Yamaguchi, who took another ladies title. Now Tom Hammond for Rosalind Sumners and Elfie Schlegel saying so long from Landover.
The World Professional Figure Skating Championships are brought to you by
Brian Boitano.
If he is to win his 7th World Pro title, he'll have to climb from 3rd place. He had wanted to perform a new Christopher Dean choreographed number here, but it wasn't as perfect as he wanted, so he switched to an old standby, Music of the Night, first performed in 1989.
The judges can look at this program 2 ways. It is not new, it is not a stretch for him, or because the fact that it is so familiar and so comfortable, that's usually when the magic comes out in the performance.
This program is so old that for some fans, it's new. They've never seen it.
But the judges have seen it before. They know Kurt and Victor have new material, new programs planned. What'll be interesting to see is if they mark this in a way that will bring Brian up from 3rd place.
And you'll live as you've never lived before. Softly, deftly, music shall surround you. Closing in around you. Open up your mind, let your fantasies unwind. In this darkness, the darkness of the music of love.
This is Brian's house. He has owned this place 6 times. He's taken away the trophies. Was it good enough to move up from 3rd place?
Well, he fought back from an unusually difficult showing in the technical program, but that isn't necessarily what is going to win this championship tonight.
Ryan Boitano.
He appears pleased with his performance. Sometimes those old shoes are the best ones. They feel more comfortable than any others, and certainly the pressure mounting on Kurt Browning, too.
So I always get 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the technical marks for Brian Boitano.
Victor Petrenko will follow.
9.9.
Good start.
9.9. 9.8.
Good marks, but remember, he's trying to move up from 3rd place. He's got a lot to overcome.
9.8.
Well, Brian's not used to these marks. The judges didn't give him anything higher because they know what Kurt Browning has in store, and they're saving the marks for Kurt.
9.8. 9.9. And 9.8.
So it looks as if it'll be up to Victor Petrenko. Victor Petrenko trying to overcome Kurt Browning and skating his artistic program to a comic number, the Rooster. Dressed like that, I'm not sure I'd let him in my hen house.
Well, it's okay to do a comic routine in some competitions, but I'm not too sure about here in Landover with the quality of competition that you're seeing, especially with the program that Kurt Browning has planned. Again, to tell you the truth, I think this is more of a show program than even a competitive program.
Keep everything in the phone. The dogs begin to bark. Hounds begin to howl. Dogs begin to bark. Hounds begin to howl. Watch out, strange can't see. Little red roosters on the ground. If you see my little red rooster, please drive him home.
And yet in between acting like a chicken, he threw in a triple axel. Still trying to make the number competitive.
Please drive him home.
don't think the audience is quite sure what to make of this from Victor.
Was the rooster enough to overtake Kurt Browning, or did it lay an egg?
Well, I think Victor's very talented. I think he's capable of much more than that.
Kurt Browning will be the final skater. And backstage, Brian Boitano rarely concerns himself with the other competitors. It would take a total Browning collapse for Brian to win, and this will be interesting to see how the judges rank the rooster program of Victor Petrenko. Currently in second place.
Petrenko. 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, and 9.8. The artistic
So Brian Boitano may move into second place. In fact, it looks like Brian Boitano will pass Victor Petrenko. Despite a couple of 9.9s, he will overtake Petrenko to move into second. So now Kurt Browning. First World Pro Championship performance was embarrassingly bad. Last year, he beat Brian Boitano for the title. It would be one of the great accomplishments of his career to repeat.
Here you're going to see a very original program choreographed by ice dancer Alexander Julin. Clever body positions right there in the camel spin. Not something you see from any of the other men.
He looks so relaxed and confident.
Well, he's got that loose body that can get into any position. That's what makes him so great. He does it with such ease.
There's a portion in this program where Kurt, traveling the world in his mind, is attacked by a snake. He says if you don't recognize it, he hasn't done it well.
Doing in this program takes such amazing body control, and in between he can throw in a beautiful triple toe wally, the last jump we just saw. Triple combination near the end of this program.
Kurt Browning displaying some of the best skating of his distinguished career.
Wow, he has skated 2 solid performances here at the World Professional Championships. He deserves the title. The most innovative program we've seen tonight.
And that performance will wrap it up. And there's Brian Boitano coming out. He never looks at the scores of the other competitors. This is highly unusual and perhaps a tribute to the programs of that man, Kurt Browning.
9.8.
9.8.
9.8.
There's a 9.9.
9.9. 9.7.
Well, the 9.9s were right on with all those triples in between all that unbelievably difficult choreography.
As Brian looks on. And
Hi, Alexander Zulin. Thanks for the great number. Everyone enjoyed it.
9.9. 9.9. 9.9. And 9.9. This concludes our competition. The award ceremony coming up. Please stay with us for that.
Kurt, last year you had something to prove. What about this year?
This year, I've just been enjoying skating. I'm finally getting back to why I went to the rink when I was 13 to begin with, which is to really enjoy it. I feel stronger over my skates, and when I skate, it's for good reasons, not for scared reasons. And it's easy to entertain and maybe even do some triples at the same time, and I'm really enjoying my life.
Congratulations on your second title.
Feels great. Thanks.